Hello. This lecture introduces one of my really most favorite theories. In fact, it is a theory I've done some published research with, but I love this theory just conceptually and in life in terms of understanding human behavior. So what we're looking at is the theory of reasoned action, and it's also the theory of planned behavior. And the book really talks about first the theory of reasoned action and then planned behavior, when the second one is just an addition to the first. This is part one of the lecture. So this theory looks at the question, why do people do what they do? The answer, you do you, or YOLO, doesn't really cut it. We want to understand, why do people choose to make the decisions that they do? And there's other theories that look at it, but this theory is going to look at it in a very particular way. The research using this theory has addressed such topics as why people smoke or keep smoking, eat unhealthy foods, try illegal substances, drive dangerously, cheat on schoolwork, have risky or unprotected sex, persist through college, and recycle. So if you look at each of these, we might see where we're familiar with the sort of dominant social narrative, as we'd say, or social messages about why you should or shouldn't do something, about why you should not smoke, or why you should stop smoking, why you shouldn't eat unhealthy foods, and why you should persist through college. But we may choose to act in a manner that is contrary to that, even though we've heard those many messages. So why? Why is that for all the campaigns that we have to tell kids crack is whack and dopes use dope, other than the fact that those campaigns really have stupid taglines? Why is it that we still see teens and adults trying and using illegal substances, right? So that's what we're trying to understand with this theory, is why do people do what they do? It's called the theory of reasoned action, understanding the reasons behind action. So how do we make decisions? Well, if we're looking at the theory of reasoned action, it begins by understanding that just because we think something is a good thing to do doesn't mean that we will necessarily do it. Right? There are many things that we know we should do, but we don't. Or we know we shouldn't do, but we do. We know we shouldn't go through the drive-through because it's expensive, it's not healthy for us, we can go to lots of other reasons, but many of us end up in that drive-through anyway. Pourquoi, right? Why are we doing that? So it's saying there are three variables in the theory of planned behavior and two in the theory of reasoned action. We start with the theory of reasoned action. First, it says that we have to understand what people see as the predicted outcomes from behavior. So we can tell teens all we want to about the risks of lung cancer associated with smoking, right? But do they believe that will actually happen to them, right? That's a predicted outcome from behavior. We also have to look at others' opinion. So if we're talking about teens and smoking, what is the opinion of others? And those others are both their peers and those they respect. What are they saying about smoking? This is why the numbers tell us that the children of smokers are much more likely to smoke than the children of non-smokers. Right? Probably not much of a surprise to us. So what is others' opinion? So the third reason to actually looking at attitude, which is not just, I think it's good, I think it's bad. That's not how this theory talks about attitude. It's about what do we predict as the outcome from behavior, and then it's also looking at what are others' opinions. And as it actually gets into, as we delve into the theory, it gets into also, do we care about their opinion, right? And then the theory of planned behavior adds in this last element, has to do with our sense of control. And sense of control is both the sense that we have the personal ability to make the choice. Some people may feel like they can't say no to the drug, the illegal drug. They can't say no to the alcoholic drink when they're underage, right? So people sense their personal ability to decide what they will and won't do, and in the effect to which people feel that external factors constrain what they do. I know that the fast food's not good for me. It's going to add to cholesterol or weight, or be bad for my pocketbooks. That's attitude. Um, health professionals say, right, so talking about subjective norms, health professionals say I really should be going through the drive-through, but Lord knows my friends and I do it all the time, so there's some support for it there. And then people might say, because of external factors, because of the crunch for time, I don't really have any other choices. I know I can choose what I'm going to eat, but external factors keep me from being able to exercise my choice, right? So you can see how some things may work together or work in conflict of each other, and then lead to how we actually make our decision. So again, the three factors we're going to be focusing on, and I'm repeating these. I know it sounds like a broken record, but if you get these three factors, if you understand that and what they mean, you've gotten the whole theory, and this theory is huge, both in terms of the parts to it, but also in terms of the significance of it. And really, there's not that many parts, just conceptually wrapping your head around them, right? And so there's three factors: attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control. Those all create intention. Our intention to do something, our intention to stay in college, our intention to smoke or to quit smoking, our intention to eat on a low-fat diet, right? Our intention to stay away from the drive-through. And intention is what predicts behavior. So this theory actually predicts intention, and intention is actually what leads to behavior. So the theory of reasoned action says that intention comes from looking at attitude and subjective norms, which is to say, the likelihood of engaging in behavior comes from what we see as the outcomes of the behavior and the support we have for the behavior. And the theory of planned behavior just adds in this last part and says we have perceived behavioral control, which is our sense that we can control the choices we make. And so it just adds in by saying the likelihood of engaging in behavior is understood by looking at what we see as the outcomes of a behavior, how much support we feel we have for engaging in a behavior, and what we feel is our ability to choose whether or not we engage in the behavior. So that's the theory of reasoned action and theory of planned behavior in overview. The following lectures break down those parts individually.